Card Girl. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please do so. And a big thumbs up is always greatly appreciated as it helps my channel to grow. So I am here to show a technique on how I inked this seahorse folded card from the Stamps of Life. And it was requested by several people, so here you guys go. I hope you enjoy it because you're going to find out how actually very simple and easy this is to create. So let's jump in. So what I did is for the base of my card, I used the foundation die. That's what I call it. And if you ever look at her folded cards, you will see that it says place fold here if you would like your card to open from top. And hers has a place fold here if you would like to open it from the belly. So what I did is I took the die to make my card base. I ran it through and then here it is and it opens. Now I could have turned my die on my paper and actually could have gotten the nose in, but I knew I was going to cut another one anyway, so that doesn't matter that that's cut off. It just kind of makes it nice and sturdy. Then I took the same die, I cut out a full image just like that, and then I will take the full image and I will adhere it to this one, and then it will be nice and sturdy, and that's going to be the foundation of my card. So next is the inking. I took the detailed die and I actually inked directly on the die itself. Now you could do this with any dies that you have, and you can use any color combinations that you like. Play with it, kind of just see how it comes out. I think the loveliness of this is more than likely no two are going to come out similar because of the way you're going to dab the ink on. So it's kind of nice. They're all a little unique and a little, I don't know, I'm going to say the word messy, but I like it. So I chose to go ahead and do the marigold. I'm going to use grape, and I'm going to use the new color Pacific. And I always start, if I'm going to use, 3, 2, whatever, the lightest color first. So I decided to go ahead and use some marigold. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your ink and you're literally going to just dab it on to your die. And just kind of put it where you think you might want the ink. Obviously, the more you put, the more that's going to transfer to the card. So if you don't want a ton of ink, just put, a little bit. So I think that's about kind of where I want mine to go. And I might dab this just a little bit right there so I don't have really hard lines. Some of the lines don't bother me. Like I said, it's an ocean. So, the imperfections, I think, make it prettier. If that makes any sense. Next, I'm going to go with my grape. And I'm going to decide maybe where I want a little bit of, maybe purple. And I'm literally just going to dab it like so. Because that's kind of, I think, where I want that. And then I'm going to dab it a little bit. You don't have to dab it, but I'm going to on this one, just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my Pacific. And then I'm going to kind of just go around my entire seahorse like this. And again, like I said, depending on how much ink you put is how much is going to transfer onto your paper. So let's just kind of take a look at this one. I don't know if you can see the ink on there. See how it is? And so the next step, and I'm going to step away for a second, and I already cut my paper. So I'm going to take this, stick it on my die cutting machine, and I'm literally going to just take my die turn it over onto my paper and run it through my machine. So give me a couple of seconds, bear with me, and I'm going to cut this out. And voila, this is how the ink transferred onto this one from the die. So then what I do is I just take my handy dandy wipe, clean off my workspace a little bit. You can clean off your die. You can run it through water, or you can just clean it up. I just use my little, I love these. They're the best for your ink, your stamp sets and stuff like that. I'm going to set this guy aside because I already cut him out, and this is how he looks. And so what I go and do from here is I go ahead, and you don't have to do this. It works for both, but let's see if we can see a difference. So here is what it looks like. Then I take my little spritzer that has just some water in it, and I spritz it a little bit. And I don't know if you can kind of see the color kind of spotting a little bit more, getting splotchy. Can you see that? And it kind of softens up the paper, and then when it dries, it almost softens it just a little bit. And you can wait a little bit and let it dry, or you can sit here and fan it a little bit if you want. I'm going to, for the process of the video, speed it up a minute with your heat emboss tool. So if you don't like the sound of this, you might want to turn your video down, or I'm going to try to figure out how to edit it so you don't hear it, but I'm not that great. So just for the video's sake, it doesn't take very long. So let's heat set. Like that. It didn't take too long, and now it's dry, and you can see how it kind of splotted the ink once you wet it a little bit more. And now that it's dry, it kind of softened the colors. So from here, what I did is then I just went and I enhanced in areas that I wanted a little bit, bolder statement. So from there, what I did is let's go ahead and start with the marigold because it's right here. So I just grabbed my paper, and I kind of just use my little daubers, and I kind of just ink a little bit where maybe I want just a little bit more to go. So around my tail, I kind of want to enhance a little bit of that, kind of and again, with stuff like this, butterflies, nature stuff, there is no two seahorses that look exactly alike, or anything like that. So play with it. Find out what you like. So I think that's where I'll go with my marigold. Then I think I'm going to take the grape, and I'm going to, and I'm just going to kind of dabble it on like this, just to kind of give it a little bit more depth to it. Let's just add a little bit here on our tail. I'll throw a little bit in here, and again, just take your seahorse and kind of figure out a little bit more where you might want a little bit of the color. So I think I'll add a little bit in here. I want to put a little bit maybe around his nose, just to kind of get that color into here a little bit. And like I said, as much ink that you put on the die itself is going to transfer onto your paper. So it's kind of a pretty easy technique. And then again, you're just going to kind of fill it in like where you like it. Next, I'm going to take the Pacific and kind of go through it with this. So what I did on, like for example on this one, how I got some of these darker shadow areas, I just kind of fold back my little pieces here and inked it like this. So I'm gonna kind of ink, and I think on this one I specifically used the Pansy purple instead of grape, but I thought let's go with grape and just see how it came out. A little bit more purpley versus darker. And again, you can use any of the colors that you like. So I'm gonna go around my seahorse here. Going to ink the edges. Like I said, I just fold in these fold lines to get me that shadowed area that I like. Let's fold and get some shadows in here. Go in here. Down his tail. I'm saying he. I don't know why I'm thinking it's a he, but it could be a she. Could add a little bow to her hair, would be cute. Make her a little girl. Don't even have to add a bow, but let's see. I want to just do a little bit of blue in there. And again, you know, just look over your seahorse or whatever image that you're doing and see where you want to add that color. Add some here. A little bit more to the tail. Because in all honesty, there is no wrong way, right? Let's see, I want to go along the belly here. A little bit darker. And I'm just going to kind of in here, can you see where like the little spotches are? I'm just going to kind of like lightly rub it to kind of darken them a little, just because I want to. You may just like it nice and subtle like that. If you want to give it a little bit darker, you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and do a face here. Like that. Like I said, you can fill it in however you like. I think I'm kind of liking that. I like the highlights. Any of these white spaces, if you want to fill them in with any color, you know, do so. But I kind of like having, you know, that kind of highlighted as well. If you get a little too much ink, let's say on your die, you can, I'm going to show you what I use with my white pen as well, but I think, and again, you can kind of just keep playing with it. So I think I kind of like that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and get my grape again. I'm going to go ahead and come in here and add some on top of that blue, and it kind of changes it up. See how it kind of gave it even a little bit more depth? Gonna kind of go up here again. Whoops. I think I want to get a little more back in there. Some of that grape. I think I'm gonna, now that I've got the Pacific here, I'm gonna go ahead back in with some more grape and see how it kind of just changed the color and gave it a little more depth. Kind of gave it that vibrancy. So again, everybody's preference is a little bit different, right? And that's what makes all this so amazing. Is here, I'm going to throw a little purple in there in between. I think I'm going to go ahead and put some more purple in here. Purple, grape, let's say grape. And you know, some of these little pieces are delicate, but if they happen to clip off, what's nice is we're going to adhere it to that base. So they're easy breezy to piece together. So no problem, don't even worry about it. Let's go around this a little bit more. Let me take a good look at him. I don't know. I kind of like the way he looks. Put my lid on that. I'm gonna get my marigold again. And I think I might just bring a little bit more in here. Kind of give that a little bit here. Yeah, I like that. I love the color orange. It is my favorite color. And most people do not like orange. But I love it. To me, it's just a happy, pretty color. All right, I kind of like that. And there, and that's how I did the inking. Pretty easy. Then what I did is I gone ahead, whoops, not with that. I spritzed it again with my water, which, what did I do with my spritzer? Did it fall on the floor? Okay, spritzer, what happened to you? What if it fell on the floor? See? Nope. Okay, that is it right in front, oh, right there, right in front of my face. Okay, so I gone ahead and spritzed it again. Kind of just gives it that textured-y look. You see that? How it textured it, kind of. And again, if you want to do a few of these and you just set it to the side and let it dry, you can fan it. And it doesn't take the paper that long to dry. We will go ahead and use the embossing gun again just for time. And that's pretty dry. And then that's how it came out after I dried it. And then from there, I'm going to clean up my little spritzy water here. I am going to take my full image. Let's go ahead and glue that down. I kind of just unfold them. Okay, there's our card. And then what I did with this card, before I actually put the tail down, I used the Sea Wave stencil. And I just kind of placed it. Kind of put my little guy down to get a gauge about where his little tail would be. And then I just took my, I actually took my Pacific color and I just put me some waves in here. You don't have to do this. This obviously is totally optional, but because I had the stencil that came with the kit, that's what I did. And then there's me a few little waves on my using my stencil. And then I took my little guy and I'm going to place him on here like that. But I think what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and come in and enhance his face just a little bit more. Using my grape a little bit. So using this inking technique, I've used it for numerous things. I've used it forever, but it's, you know, it's kind of like you can use your embossing folders and ink your embossing folders as well, and then run your embossing folder with your paper through, and then the ink just transfers onto your paper, and it just gives it such a nice little texture, just a little different illusion kind of look, which is fun. I think I like that. And see how this kind of came apart, but once I get it put on my card, you ever gonna even notice? So it's nothing to stress too much about. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of blue right here. See how you can just add a little more if you want, just to kind of darken it for their vibrancy, or if you like this subtle, that's fine too. But I'm just trying to give you an idea how I kind of continue to go back and, you know, till it comes out just like I kind of want it to come out. And I think I like that. So then I am going to take my glue and I'm just gonna adhere this. Okay, we are going to place this guy right down onto our card. And again, as far as your base card, you could have done this in marigold, you could have done this in blue, in a purple, black, whatever color suits your fancy. You could have used, and you're just going to place that on there. Just kind of bone folder and put it on here. And on this specific fold, it came with these seashell dies. So in the card that I had created that's on my Instagram, I had cut some out in white and just inked them with twig ink color. And before I didn't put glue all the way, I kind of put some of these inside my tail. And again, you just kind of place them however you like. And then I had cut out some, I don't really have a bunch cut out, but I had cut out just some greenery to kind of make it look like seaweed. And kind of put them in there, so it kind of gave it like a little oceany effect. So from there, what I did is, when you cut him out, his little eye cuts out, and I just simply took a black, mine's a Spectrum Noir black marker, and I just colored in the eye black. You can do whatever color you want. You could cut it out in black paper, but because it already cuts out in white, instead of wasting another little teeny paper or running it again, I just take my black marker, give him a cute little eye, and then we will put his eye in place just like this. And there we got our little eye. And then next what I specifically did with this one, if you can see kind of this white dotted effect. I just took a white gel pen and just decided kind of where I wanted some dots. And I took it, let's put the pen back in the glue because we know that that clogs up quickly. And then I just kind of dotted where I wanted some of that texture. So that's all I did, is I just kind of took it, kind of dotted where I wanted it. Do you have to put these dots? Absolutely not. But I'm just kind of showing as far as the card that was posted, more so kind of what was on it. So I kind of just did this to kind of give it some texture. I don't know if you can see that. Let's put a little bit in here maybe. Kind of see that? Kind of gives you some texture maybe where you wanted. And then what I did, another option, is because Yvette loves everything sparkly, and I love flowers, and I try so hard usually not to stick a flower on a card, but something doesn't allow me, and I think I got to put a flower on everything. But we're not putting a flower on this one. But I love to use, they have the Spectrum Noir glitter pens. I just use the Wink of Stella because that's what I have on hand. And I like everything shiny. So all of mine, if you can see, can you see some of the shine? I didn't do it over the entire card, but I kind of just enhanced a little bit in here to kind of give it a little shine because our seahorse is sparkly. And I kind of go up here, I guess kind of more where my dark areas were. It's kind of where I seem to put it. And again, like I said, this is all optional. You don't have to put this if you're not a glitter person. But what's nice with the Wink of Stella is it doesn't come off, so it's not like splattering on you. Let's take these off for now. That was just to show you what you could do with that. And that's going to give you a little bit of shine to your seahorse. And that, again, I used Wink, this is the clear Wink of Stella. And that, my friends, gives you the seahorse, and that is how I inked up my seahorse. And then there's your card, and you can write a message in it, and that is that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the little technique tutorial. Comments are always welcome. Big thumbs up, like I said, would be welcome. And thank you again for the request. And I hope you guys like to see some more videos. And until then, have a happy crafty day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!